Hello and welcome to a very windy evening on Vancouver Island. It's about 6 p.m. and it's starting to get dark, so I'm hoping I can get a little bit of planting done before it gets dark tonight. We're expecting 5 days of rain, so hopefully I can get a bunch of stuff in the ground before it starts to rain. I'm going to be planting some onions. I've got a package of 100. I don't know if we're going to plant them all. This variety of potato we're going to be planting is called Jazzy, and it is an early harvest potato. A little bit of fertilizer. I'm going to be planting 2 varieties of beet seeds. We've got Cylindrica formova beet from Mary's Heirloom Seeds. And this is an old favorite from last season that grew pretty well, golden beet from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. To start off with my potato planting experiment, I am no expert on planting potatoes. I can grow them, but I don't have epic harvest. So it's not a how-to video, this is just a little vlog. I'm going to try planting in a dog food bag. I've seen numerous people talk about that online, planting potatoes in dog food bags. Zipper, hey! This dog food bag is, I don't know if you can see it, 9.9 kilograms. And I'm assuming the 9.9 is shrinkflation right there, a good example of it. And we're also going to be using a burlap bag, which was actually a plant cover, protector cover that I used on my lima tree, which I just unearthed today. I'm going to be putting a couple plants in my hybrid with raised beds / in-ground garden. Not too many, just a couple, and I'm going to try out and see what grows best. Got my dog food bag, and this bag does not have any type of drainage in it, so I'm just going to take a pair of garden clippers and cut a few drainage holes in the bottom before we fill it with some garden soil. These clippers are not quite as sharp as I imagine them to be. Well, I did make a slit. I think it's going to be more of slits in the bottom versus holes. Hopefully that's going to work out okay. So I've got 3 little slits in my dog food bag. Yes, my slits were successful. There are 3 little holes in the bottom of the bag. So I'm just going to fill this with soil and then we're going to get to planting. I'm not going to worry about my burlap bag putting any drainage holes in here because it's so permeable that I suspect there won't be any issues with drainage, even in the Pacific Northwest where, excuse me, we get a ton of rain. I don't believe there's going to be any problem with moisture in this bag. We're just gonna steal some soil from my vegetable garden and add it to the dog food bag. And you can guess that this guy is a little interested in his previous food bag. So we've got the dog food bag right here. Just gonna start with adding my lovely dark sea soil to the bag. I purposely didn't fill my burlap bag or my dog food bag right to the top with soil because I intend to put more soil on and around the plants as they grow. I think you're supposed to do that with potatoes. So that's the plan. It's about 3/4 full. And And that will allow me to do that in a bag situation just as I would in the ground. There's a couple handfuls of that. And add some kelp meal. If you've never seen kelp meal before, this is what it looks like. Kind of like a sandy substance. And it comes from seaweed or kelp in the ocean. And there is no odor, in case you're wondering about that too. Just gonna mix in all my amendments. So I've got my jazzy potatoes here. Let's see what these guys look like. A little information pamphlet. And these guys are definitely ready for planting. I can see little eyes all over. Here's one little spud ready to be planted. It's got a few little growth points coming out, so that's good. I'm going to try planting 2 plants per bag. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I think it's sufficient. I don't think I should plant more than that in each bag, so I'm going to go with the recommended about 6 inches down into the bag. You won't be able to see that, but you can imagine what 6 inches looks like. So that is my first potato batch planted. Sack. I didn't even get the sack. It's not even quite half full. So this is a bit of an experiment too, because I'm going to plant, just like my dog food bag, 6 inches roughly into the bag, into the soil. But I still have all of this extra material. See if once the potato plants sprout, if when I top them up, having a lot more space to top up with yields a much bigger crop. So stay tuned for the results much later in the season. So I've got my 2 bags planted up of potatoes, and now I'm going to plant just 2 plants into my vegetable garden. This is one of the areas where I was harvesting dirt for my dog food bag and my burlap sack, and I dug up a potato from last season, so I am going to plant that and 2 of my new potato seedlings, whatever you want to call them. I think they're seedlings. There's a new one here with some growth points on it. And another new one here. So we're going to put 3 in this hole. We're going to put 3 potatoes in this hole. And that's it. Cover them up. And they're getting a single label of potatoes, not with any specific variety name. No fertilizer in this hole. This is just garden soil. And what you see that's dark is probably sea soil left over from last season, but I didn't actually add anything this year. My regular native soil here typically doesn't get super black. It'll go like a dark brown, but it almost never goes black. Even if you put a ton of organic matter in it, it doesn't really get that rich black color. And there we have it, my little potato corner all planted up in the hybrid raised bed in-ground garden. First, we're gonna plant up my grow bags with some onions. I've never grown onions in grow bags. I usually just grow them in the ground, and I've had limited success. I grow small to moderate sized onions, but I'm hoping for a more substantial harvest of my onions, so I'm gonna try something different. I've filled my grow bags with soil from my vegetable garden, and I'm going to amend each one with either bone meal plus fertilizer, regular bone meal, one of those, as well as quite a bit of sea soil, several handfuls, I think. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe the harvest will work out better than in the ground. Here we have a grow bag, add a bunch of my bone meal fertilizer to the grow bag. Well, that's pretty much all of it in one bag. A little bit left. And we're gonna mix that in. Top it with some sea soil. And plant some onions. This is a mixed variety pack, and the bulbs are definitely different sizes. So I'm going to put a mixed amount in each bag. I had planned to do 6, but I think I'm just gonna take a handful and space them out appropriately in the grow bag. Supervisor just stole my bone meal container. At least it's empty, but I'm sure it smells pretty good. He's going to entertain himself while I finish the video. So I ended up putting 10 in this particular grow bag, and now I'm just going to cover them with some sea soil. And for a little commercial break, you don't need expensive dog toys. If you have a dog, all you need is a container that is empty that once had bone meal. That's all they're gonna want to play with, because apparently it smells delicious. And this guy is all about his bone meal container. It's got a little plant label in that, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that to quite a few more grow bags, and then we'll get to planting our beets. So I ended up planting 40 onions in a total of 4 grow bags. I did end up doing 10 onions per bag, regardless of the fact the bulbs are different sizes. So we'll see how they grow. Looks like we're starting to lose light a little bit. For my beets, I'm only going to plant 2 bags at this point. I might do more later. I've labeled them Baker Creek BK beets and MH for Mary's Heirloom Seeds beets. So I'm only going to put a few seeds in each, try to save a good portion of the seed package, and we might plant some in the ground a little bit later. Thank you so much for watching my little garden Planty vlog. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and we will see you very soon in another video. Have a good night.